Hi, thank you for joining me for the thought for the day today. My name's David. I'm a teacher, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my faith in my workplace and some of the challenges I faced in recent times. One of the real joys and pleasures of teaching is the vocational nature of it, of service. And it's been wonderful over the last couple of months to feel that reconnection to being able to serve those in my community, to serve people who are in great need of God's love in their lives, and find ways to give that to them. But I think one of the struggles and challenges I've had in this time is listening to God. I think it's been really easy over this time to find a place to do a lot. And I've been incredibly proud of what we've been able to do in my workplace, in my school, of providing meals for families, of giving them support, of making sure there's a safe place for their children, but also being a voice, a place they can go to and be heard. But I think in the hustle and the bustle and the busyness of returning, it's been very easy to just be very active and not be still. So I'd like to share with you a little section from the Bible, 1 Samuel chapter 3, and I'm going to start with just verses 1 to 10. Now the boy Samuel was ministering to the Lord in the presence of Eli, and the word of the Lord was rare in those days. There was no frequent vision. At that time, Eli, whose eyesight had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, was lying down in his own place. The lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the temple of the Lord where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called to Samuel, and he said, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." But he said, "I did not call you. Lie down again." So he went and lay down. And the Lord called again, "Samuel." And Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." And he said, "I did not call you, my son. Lie down again." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, and the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. And the Lord called Samuel again a third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, for you called me." Then Eli perceived that the Lord was calling the boy. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, "Go, lie down, and if he calls you, you shall say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant hears.'" So Samuel went and lay down in his place. And the Lord came and stood, calling as at other times, "Samuel, Samuel." And Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant hears." I find that really challenging. I think the context there is quite interesting because Samuel and Eli in the heart of service there. Samuel is literally lying next to, the core of the temple, the ark, and he's described as ministering with Eli in constant service. He's always doing a lot of what is expected of him and a lot of what God may ask of him. But one thing he's not doing there is making himself open and still to listen. And I think in the intensity of returning to work for me personally, there was a great deal of excitement, but it was exhausting, especially when we had all the children coming back, and there was a great buzz, and it was an incredible time. But making time to be still and opening myself to listen to God has been and still continues to be a real challenge. I think it's very easy to be wrapped up in service and wrapped up in the actions of serving God, and almost assuming what we think God might want for us or want us to do. It's sometimes harder to just stop for a moment and think, actually, God, what are you asking me to do in this time? So I'd like to just leave that thought with you of I wonder how you're able to make time to not do, to be still in the craziness of the next few weeks, and be open to what God has to say to you and what God wants for you. and I'm going to finish just by sharing, jump ahead in this particular chapter to verse 19, because I find this really inspirational and motivational. Um, and it says, "And Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and let none of his words fall to the ground. And all Israel, from Dan to Bathsheba, knew that Samuel was established as a prophet of the Lord." And I just love that phrase. He didn't let words fall to the ground. Uh, that he was just kind of there soaking up what God had to say. And because he was listening, all those around him knew he was a prophet of the Lord. They knew he was from the Lord. I think I feel it's so important that I'm a conduit of God in my actions, in what I do, and how I conduct myself, that I can show people something of what Jesus is to them. But by listening, that's another way that people will know Jesus in a more real way through us. Thanks for listening.